Hi everybody, welcome to the May monthly reset. This is my personal favorite video to film. I find it to be very personally useful and helpful, and I try to be very transparent about my personal finances and where I'm at as a normal 32-year-old who makes a approximately median wage and pays approximately median rent, etc., etc., has student loans, works a 9 to 5. Like, I'm not making any money from content creation or anything like that. So yeah, in these videos I do a what I read in the previous month. I go through the empties from the previous month, which I have a shocking amount of this month, and then I go through the goals that I set goals for the following month, and then I go through what I spent in the previous month and what I'm plan out my budget for the following month. This video is a little bit different because I have some library books in what I read, and they're due tomorrow, Monday the 28th. So I'm going to film my what I read and my empties tonight, Sunday the 27th, and then I'm going to wait and film the finance and goals portion on Tuesday night, just to make it fit with my schedule and be a little bit more timely on the spending. So what I read this month, I love a cozy mystery. This is the Tea Shop series by Laura Childs. I have 3 of these, although I might have lost one because I can only find 2. This is the Haunted Hibiscus one. It's Halloween themed. And it's just, about a nice lady in her 30s who owns a tea shop in Charleston and occasionally solves murders. And they're exactly what you would expect them to be. They're fantastic. She gets her guy every time. Sometimes it's a girl. And she has a hot boyfriend. What more could you want? They're nothing of substance, but they're fantastic. Okay. Then, Sunrise on the Reaping. This is the latest book in the Hunger Games series. I am of the age where Hunger Games came out when I was in high school, and I think the movies came out in my early years of undergrad, and maybe one came out in high school and then the rest in undergrad, something along those lines. I would have said that Harry Potter was my favorite fantasy series of that time. I always enjoyed the Hunger Games. I got them as they came out. I have them all in hardcover. But I think as I have grown and as things have changed and I've become more aware of certain things, I think they have become my favorite young adult. Fantasy seems like the wrong word. Sci-fi? Are they maybe sci-fi? And this is, so there's the 3 original trilogy books about Katniss and Peeta, everybody knows. And then there's she wrote a 4th book 5 years ago, maybe. And Suzanne Collins, the author, only writes when she has commentary to make on the culture, the political climate, etc. She does not add to the Hunger Games story without purpose. And if you're familiar with the discourse surrounding J.K. Rowling, you might understand what I mean when I say she doesn't make comments about the books in between the books. She says everything she wants to say in the books. Nothing on Twitter. She doesn't make statements in interviews. I don't even know if she does press. Also, I didn't know this. This is a total tangent, but she used to write for kids shows on PBS. So if you're my age or a little bit older, a little bit younger, we have quite literally been growing up on Suzanne Collins media. Suzanne Collins media, because she wrote for Reading Rainbow and Arthur and stuff like that. And then she wrote The Hunger Games, and then she has other books. Actually, I didn't know she had written other books, but she has a whole bunch of other books as well. But yeah, so she wrote The Hunger Games, and then she wrote The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is about the man who would eventually become the president, both in this book and in the original trilogy, who's the big bad. Not to give too many spoilers. And this book is about the man who would become Katniss and Peeta's mentor in the 74th and 75th Hunger Games. And he's a victor. He's the winner of the 50th Hunger Games, because the only way you become a mentor is by winning the Hunger Games, because you're the only person who survives. And it's very much about propaganda, messaging. And it's also devastating because you know how his story ends. You know how he is 24, 25 years from now. And it is crushing. So how the Hunger Games work is a male name of a child between the ages of 12 and 18 and a female name of the child between the ages of 12 and 18 are picked. And they're sent into like an Olympics arena, and whomever survives is the winner, and they're meant to murder each other. And then every 25 years they do what's called a quarter quell, and there's something different about those games. So in the 25th quarter quell, the districts elected horrific who went. In the 50th, they doubled the amount of tribunes, is that what they call them? But they doubled the amount of kids who went. So they drew 2 boys' names and they drew 2 girls' names. So instead of 24 people going in, there were 48 people going in. And I don't think I can even describe, without giving away a ton of spoilers, how horrific it is from the jump. The first line, the books start on the day that he is going to get sent to the Hunger Games. The first line of the book is happy birthday. It's his birthday. He gets sent, he gets reaped on his birthday. Like, can you imagine your birthday's supposed to be this wonderful day, and then every year of your life on your birthday, you watch at least 2 kids go to their almost certain death? She is a sick and twisted human being, and I think we're very lucky to have her. And if we are lucky enough to get another book, I am very interested in the Heavensby family and how did they get to where they are. Anyways, I've spent too much time talking about that. These are the 2 library books that I got. This is The Jazz Club Spy by Roberta Rich. I love this kind of book. This is a classic, you know, between World War I to Cold War, random lady becomes a spy book. Works in the resistance, you know, supports the free world in some way. This was one of the worst ones I've ever read. It's just not well written at all. It starts off interesting, and then it just it just falls flat at the end. Really, that's it. And then this is another book in a series that I thought was a trilogy. So I love the A Discovery of Witches books, which is what the TV show is called, but I don't think that's what the actual name of the series is. But I had thought that A Discovery of Witches was just a trilogy. So A Discovery of Witches, Shadow of Night, and The Book of Life. But there's actually like 5. This is the 5th book. So I saw this and I was like, oh, she must have written another book. No, she's written a ton more books, and I just had no clue, because the TV show, which I watched first, which I don't normally do, but I watched the TV show first and was like, I am obsessed with this. I want to see it all. Only covers the first 3 books. The TV show is excellent, by the way. It's a little scary, but I'm a wimp. So if you like scary things, you will like it a lot more than I did. But it's really not scary at all. I think it's on Shudder or Prime sometimes. The TV series, it's excellent. Very true to the books. But the books are really good as well. So I'm going to try and find book 4, I think, next. And I think I might actually even start with book 1 again, which I own, and pick it all back up again. But these two have to go back to the library, and these two get added to the various piles of books that I have around my apartment because I don't own bookshelves yet. Now for the empties. Like I said, we have a fair amount this month. Just pure happenstance. I have this Innis hand cream. It's a good hand cream. It's an Irish brand. I basically get one for Christmas every year, and then I tend to use it up by approximately March, April. I don't know where to buy this at all. It just kind of appears in my stocking every year. I just finished this today. Actually, this is the e.l.f. Perfect Finish HD powder. I like this a lot. I use a fair bit of powder, especially when I have my bangs down, because it helps to, if my forehead gets greasy, then my bangs get greasy, basically. So I use a fair bit of powder. I don't really put any other makeup when my bangs are down on my forehead, but I'll put a fair bit of powder and then a lot of dry shampoo in my bangs, and I can generally get to like 9 o'clock before my bangs start to feel greasy without any touch-ups. This is the Nivea Creme blue tin. The metal tin it's important that you get the metal tin and not the blue plastic. They are different formulas. Metal tin, blue Nivea Creme. This stuff is excellent. It's so thick. Actually, there's a little bit on the lid. It is so thick and sticky, and it is just like truly an incredible moisturizer. You basically don't need any, at least I don't need any other skincare when I'm using this at night. Like it does have a little bit of a fragrance, but nothing serious, and it's so affordable. It's a classic for decades for a reason. It's just fantastic. Like my hands were so crusty looking, and you don't need much. Like I think I bought this in late July, early August, and I finished it in April. So it's great. Really like it. I mean, if you have super oily skin, I probably wouldn't recommend it, but it's fantastic. And I like that it's metal. It's fully recyclable once I wash it. This is one of my favorite products. It's the Biossance Squalane and Vitamin C plus Rose Oil. Sadly, I will not be repurchasing. I have a backup powder already, so I'm not repurchasing this. And I'm also not repurchasing this because it's an American brand, and I am participating in the boycotting of American products where possible. This is made in Germany. This is Ireland. But if you're in the United States or you just don't care, this is excellent. It gives you such a glow and a brightness to your skin. It's really hydrating. It doesn't make me feel oily or greasy. It's excellent. So I'm on the hunt currently for a vitamin C oil plumping thing. Then I have a Carmex lip balm that is, I really like this stuff. It's an American product, so I won't be currently repurchasing it unless I can't find any Canadian made plain lip balms. I like to have at least 2 plain lip balms, one on my desk and one in the bathroom, for when I'm working, stuff like that don't have any color, that are just purely for hydration and like maintenance of the lips. And I really like Carmex. This is a cuticle cream. This is Sally Hansen. I've had this for literal years. It took me so long to get through. I didn't love it, which is probably part of the reason why it took me so long to get through. It was just fine. I don't really do very much with my nails. I let them grow. I chop them off. But my cuticles could use a bit of help. So I'm also on the hunt for a cuticle product. And then this is one of those, not the baby foot brand, but one of those like baby foot peel things. These are very effective and completely disgusting. You literally shed like a snake, but they are very effective. My feet just needed a little bit of help after the winter moving. yeah, basically that's it. Yeah, so I'm gonna add these to my bag of, well, not this because this is easily recyclable, I just need to wash it, but I'm gonna add everything else to my bag of Empties that I eventually will take to a recycling box, just throw these away. And that is what I read and my empties from the month, and I will pick this back up on Tuesday night with my goals and my finances. Hello friends, welcome back to part 2. It is Tuesday night. A couple days later, I successfully returned my library books yesterday morning, and we are going to get into the part that I find the most useful. I partly post this for accountability because I was never one to like sit down. Like I tracked my spending and I set goals, but I never checked in on them at the end of the month. And I think that was a big thing that I was missing. So here we are doing the check-in at the end of the month. So this is my Notion. I always link the template that I used. I purchased a template 2 Januaries ago now. And this is it. I've changed a few things. There was a lot of stuff in here that I didn't find useful that I've taken out, but everybody is different, so you might find it useful. But I really only use these 2 boxes. Excuse me. There was a whole bunch of other stuff down here at the bottom, but I got rid of it. So this month's focus was figuring out balancing finances and priorities. And I think we're getting there. I noticed myself saying, like when I was invited out or something like that, like, I really want us to come hang out with you, but I can't afford to go out to dinner. Or I really want to come hang out, but I can't afford to go to a bar. Like, I actually noticed myself saying those things. So we're making some progress. I did save $500 to my emergency fund. I did not buy bookshelves. I did not buy a cat tree, and I did not buy a decent rug for the front door. Not off to a great start. But given that most of those goals involve spending money, I understand why they didn't happen. Although I did spend a fair bit of money this month, just was not on those things. We'll get there. Have 10 no spend days. I had 6, which was an improvement. Actually, it'll be 5, which is still an improvement. Our summer intern just started, and I'm gonna take her to get coffee tomorrow. So today is the 29th. There's still 1 day of April left. And do the Cotton Eye Joe every night until you can hop the whole way through. This was my stupid goal because I was fresh off my friend's wedding, and we had done the Cotton Eye Joe, and every single one of us nearly had a heart attack because we've gotten out of shape. I was really good at this for the first few days, and then my parents stayed with me, and I wasn't gonna do the Cotton Eye Joe by myself in my apartment in front of my parents, and that just like completely knocked me off course. So I did it every night until my parents stayed with me. For tasks, I did my taxes, which I was really proud of. That's in a vlog. You can like hear the joy in my voice. I did deep clean my entryway, although I do want to do it. I could do it deeper. I could, really. And deep clean bathroom, again, I can do it deeper, but I did do them. So for May, this month's focus is literally appreciating spring flowers. I want to get into goals. I need to sneeze. So we're going to elaborate on appreciating spring flowers in my goals. I want to see the cherry blossoms at Hyde Park. The cherry blossoms are iconic in Toronto, and I have never gotten to see them before, and I always see them all over social media, and I've never gotten to go. And this year I'm going to go because I'm here. I'm also going to go home for a weekend and go to Ottawa Tulip Festival. I also want to have my mom's present done by May 16th. Has the piece I need to make it come in the mail yet? Like the essential core piece? No. It will be a speed race. Otherwise, I want to, just getting into serious goals now, I want to save $250 to emergency fund. I want to save 200, no, because I think I'm going to buy my glasses this month. Either save 200 to a health spending account or purchase. My brain is a little fried because I've had a couple of very terrible technology days. Or purchase new glasses. At work, it's been a doozy. And then I want to save 200 to bookcase fund. I think this is going to be more doable than if than just trying to do it all at once. And then yeah. Anyways, besides the point. And we're buying this man a cat tree. He deserves it. So I think if those are my only ones. And then for tasks, I need to email my landlord and ask if I can paint. And then there might be more goals and tasks that come from that. And then tasks. I should have added some other stuff to my April tasks because I did things like went to the eye doctor and got new contacts and renewed my passport and made some decisions and stuff like that. And I should have added see come from away into my goals in April because it closes in Toronto this weekend. So, and this weekend is sold out. So I should have known that I would want to go in April. This one's tasks. Oh, so standing desk riser. So if you'll notice, we have a nice flat surface here. I like a standing desk. However, I have realized that I would rather have the solid flat surface than it be like interrupted by the standing desk adjuster thingy. So if I am going to have a standing desk, I need to replace the whole desk. Yeah, I have a few things actually that I am interested in selling. Sell random house things that don't work here. Bundle and sell hip surgery stuff. Go through spring clothes and make a shopping list. Okay, so those are the goals and the tasks, which again, this template originally only had the goals, but like emailing my landlord is something that I'm putting off, but it's not a goal. It's something that I need to do in order to accomplish my goals, which is decorating my apartment. So I find that like breaking it down like this to be helpful. So let's move into, actually I haven't looked at my totals at all. Let's look into my budgeting dashboard. This is what I spent in the month of April. So it was a 2 paycheck month, got paid twice, and then I had my tax return, which was about a little over $1,900. And so pretend like total available to spend is really like $6,500 because every paycheck I put $1,100 automatically into my bills account. So I need to have $2,200 in my bills account. So I need to make sure that I have $2,200 in my bills account by the end of the month, and that covers my cell phone bill, my internet bill, my rent, and something else. But it all is just there. It's just chilling there and I don't have to worry about it, which I like. My this is how I track my days I made money and no spend days. Because I'm salaried, days I made money isn't really that exciting. But this is how I track whether or not I spent money every single day, which I'm pretty good at. My rent is $1,900. My cell phone bill is $95.91. My internet bill is $44.01. My insurance bill, I do still own a car, despite the fact that it's not here with me in the city. So I am still paying to insure said car while it's getting repaired and sold. Spotify did not get charged this month. I have looked into it. It said my card had expired, which I don't quite understand, because my card doesn't expire until 2027, but that hasn't happened, so we'll figure that out. iCloud, I had to upgrade for more storage, so that's $4.51. I subscribe to the annual version of the monthly TTC pass. Basically, you sign a contract saying that you will keep the pass for the next 12 months, and then you get charged like $18 less a month because you signed a contract. So that's $143, and I use that thing. I didn't have it the first few months that I lived here because I needed to see how much I was going to use it, and I was spending almost $200 a month, a little, sometimes more, on transit. So it's been worth it. And then I subscribe monthly to CapCut, which is what I use to edit everything, and that's $15.24. And then I used to blog before I YouTubed, and I still pay to operate, like maintain the site, and that's $135.60. Groceries. I set a very ambitious goal for myself, which was to spend between $50 and $70 a week on groceries. And it was iffy. Like, there were a couple weeks that I was way under, there were a couple weeks that I was over. So like week 1, I didn't even track that in my goals. I spent $66.69 at the grocery store. And then the next day found out that my parents were going to be staying with me. So I bought some croissants and jam and coffee to have for breakfast the next day. So that's that $29.98. And then I spent $23.80 the following week. And then $29.77. So that puts us up to like $54 there for that week. Oh, and then I was out and bought a bottle of water, so we're at like $55. Then the next, there's like, okay, so this is my problem, is when I'm trying to buy small amounts of groceries, I end up at the store like every other day. So yeah, I am starting to think that like one big grocery shop, which is harder to do on foot for sure. One big grocery shop, meal prep, have everything planned out, have everything ready to go, have all my lunches packed, have all my breakfast packed. Like, this was kind of an experiment month to see if like little bit shopping would work for me. I don't think it does. It's easier to carry, that's for sure. But yeah, but however, if we go to year-to-date totals and we go down to expenses, I'm basically on par with March. Actually, I thought it would have been less. January, I only bought groceries like for like 2.5 weeks in January, so interesting. So $536.85 on groceries. I budgeted $400, and that is including $80 that I spent on Nespresso pods, because I figured if I'm buying coffee, like ground coffee or coffee beans, I would put that in groceries. So Nespresso pods to me go in groceries. I paid for my parents to park when they stayed with me, so that's $22.32. I spent $184.14 on Montana. I'm actually impressed with that. I was worried I was going to go over because the vet clinics only open till 6 and I kept missing them. And I was completely out of food, and I just kept going to the pet store and like buying 2 cans until I finally got to them. But he eats special wet food for his health, and it's $104. Coffee, oh, that's good. I will technically be over because, like I said, I'm going to buy our new intern coffee tomorrow. But if I was just buying coffee for myself tomorrow, I would be on budget. And I didn't know. I assumed she was starting in May and not April. So I'm counting this as a win. $65.71, and I budgeted $70. Also, that's way down from the previous month. Coffee, yeah, $90.29, $81.45, $145.50, and then $70, basically, probably $75. Essential household supplies. So this was one that I was intrigued by because I need to take out loonies, dollar coins, to use in the laundry machine. And I've been spending about $50 a month on laundry, which is my whole essential household budget. So that doesn't leave me room for garbage bags and cleaning supplies. And let's see what else is in here. Garbage bags and window cleaner and a lint roller, which I was really confused about where to put. Laundry detergent, loonies for laundry. Basically, every week I get paid. Every payday, I go to the bank and I say, can I get $25, please? And they're like, for laundry? And I'm like, yes, please. So that one's going to have to go up, I think, in the next iteration of the budget. Toiletries, I budgeted $50 and spent $152.26. I did I ran out of a lot of stuff this month, as you would have seen in the empties section. I actually haven't replaced it all yet because I was just like, what? But I bought more makeup remover and hand cream and, okay, $9.03 on bar soap, $9.36 on a headband. I have to get my hair cut in the month of May. I have to. $82.49 makeup remover and hand cream. So that's that's almost half of it there. And then toothpaste and toothbrush heads is all $50 there. So yeah, just a big month. And I didn't quite realize that I was going to run out of so much stuff this month. And like, I haven't replaced any of my like lip balms. I haven't replaced my morning face oil that I normally use. So yeah, I was actually very restrained and still $100 over budget. Medicine and vitamins. My eye doctor recommended that I start taking a multivitamin. And so I bought that. And then I ended up with a massive eczema flare. There's still a teeny tiny bit of it there, and had to buy some medicine for that. And it was like $14. I was able to get it over the counter, but still it needed to be taken care of because I was in pain. Medical expenses. I probably could have put the medicine under medical expenses now that I'm thinking about it, but it's more medicine than medical expenses. $0. Dental, $0. Vision, so I had an eye doctor's appointment because I didn't have an eye doctor here, and it had been a couple years, and you have to have one every 2 years. And then ordered contacts, and that came to $441.95. So I know for next time, I had excellent insurance at my old job, and so it had been a minute since I had to pay out of pocket for vision care. Also, things are just more expensive. Like, that kind of stuff is more expensive in the city because like the doctor's rent on the building is higher, and they have to pay their staff more because their staff's living expenses are higher. So yeah, all of that sort of stuff. $0 on fitness and sport. Non-essential household, I budgeted $0 and I spent $61.53. Non-essential, I bought some tea towels and napkins for $41.53, and then I spent $20 this past weekend at an estate sale, and I got a whole sheet set, which you will see soon. I haven't washed it yet, so I haven't put it on my bed yet. And a Martha Stewart cookbook, which was an incredible deal for $20. Bank fees, budgeted $200, was charged $204.35. That's mostly credit card interest. Clothing and shoes, $131.56. I bought an exercise dress at Abercrombie. Oh, I had to buy myself some pajamas and socks. I am pathetic at buying myself things like pajamas, socks, white t-shirts, white tank tops, stuff like that. And then I thrifted a tank top for $16.95. So yeah, like nothing crazy, but still. I guess I could have done without the exercise dress, but I know I will wear it all the time, and it was like 60% off. So listen to me justifying. So I spent $131.56 and I budgeted nothing. However, when I did my budget, I didn't factor in my tax return, so that's how I'm justifying a lot of this. Spending money, I gave myself $80 and I spent $273.52. So spending money, I spent $23.70 on chocolate. Spending money. I spent $2. Oh, I had a gift card. So when I went to buy myself some drinks, my $25 gift card covered most of it. So I spent $2.45 on alcohol. I spent, this is what I actually budgeted for, the $80. I spent $67.80 on merch for the concert I went to, which was really fun. And then when I got my tax return, I decided that I was going to allow myself to put together an Easter basket for myself, so I bought myself 2 books. And then I also I put it in the Easter basket, but it's been on my list since I moved here. I wanted a toiletry bag in my desk with like a claw clip, a hairbrush. I'm gonna get I didn't get it yet, but I'm going to get contact solution and deodorant and like powder and a makeup brush and stuff like that. But I just got the toiletry bag. I broke both my claw clips. It's toiletry bag, claw clips, and headbands. Because I was just my bangs are driving me nuts because they're so long. Is that everything? Oh, and I bought myself some candy for the Easter basket. Yeah, and that was it. Okay, spending money. Gifts and cards. I bought the thing that I'm going to use for my mom's present, and it was more than $70. That's that. Social, budgeted $50, spent $94.34, so $44 over budget. I spent $38.34, which was the only thing that I had budgeted for, on brunch with my friends from undergrad. And then I think I put, this was like spontaneous social plans this past Sunday. We got lunch at a brewery while we were just kind of out wandering. Yeah, and it was $56, and I'm pretty sure that's, yep. So, yeah. I would have been under budget if we'd only done the brunch thing, which was all I knew about when I made my budget, but that wasn't all I did. And then entertainment was $132.37. I didn't leave myself enough time to make dinner the day of the concert, so my food and beverage at the concert is in there. And then I should have paid attention to when I knew I wanted to see Come From Away. Actually, hot tip, if you are in Toronto, I'm assuming it's like this other places, but if you want to go see a musical, especially a Mervish musical, do not buy your ticket online. Go day before to the box office on King Street and buy your ticket in person if you can. I was looking at them the night before online, and my credit card would not go through. And it was $104 plus tax. I went in person the next day and it was $69 flat, tax included. So I saved $40 by just going in person on my lunch break. Furniture, I bought a dining table, which you specifically cannot see, pending reveal, for $169.50, and I budgeted nothing for furniture. I renewed my passport and had to get my passport photos taken twice, and they would not honor their "we'll retake them if they get rejected" policy. So $204.91 on passport renewal so far, and then $229.96 on eating out by myself. That's the difference between social eating out and eating out. Social eating out is when I'm doing it with friends, and eating out is when I'm, buying myself lunch or dinner or something. So we have, and what I budgeted for was the 2 lunches that I allow myself to buy on payday. So this is one of them, $37.04. And then I bought a breakfast. That's definitely what that is $9.24. I bought myself lunch out when I was in the Eaton Center, $17.83. Oh yeah, because I didn't give myself time to make dinner on Sunday night at the concert, I had a really crappy lunch on the Monday, just like a bag salad. I was so hungry by the time I left the office that I stopped in the grocery store and bought a donut because I genuinely thought I was going to faint before I got home. So that's $2.61. $21.70. Oh, I bought myself lunch the day that I got my tax return because it felt like a payday, because it was also on a Thursday that I got my tax return. So eating out, $11. This is Friday bagel, so I need to remember to factor that in. Every Friday I allow myself to get a bagel. This is another work morning breakfast that I was not prepared for, so and it was not worth $17.52. They make nice coffee and nice croissants over at the coffee shop in the Canopy Hotel on Bloor, but I did not enjoy the breakfast sandwich. And then for Easter weekend, I bought one of myself, like the 3-tier Pizza Hut things where you get like 2 pizzas and then, you know, your choice of appetizers and dessert, and it fed me the whole weekend for $59. And then this is my second payday lunch for $24.28, and then Bagel Friday again. So I actually only did Bagel Friday twice. Interesting. And then I bought myself, again, I didn't leave myself enough time to make dinner at home between work and the theater, so I got a burrito on my way home. And that is all. Excellent. I mean, not excellent because I'm way over budget, but I need to find a medium there. And then I forgot to cancel my Netflix before it got charged on the 1st. And I thought I had a little bit more time. And I saved $500 to my emergency fund and $20 to my TFSA. And then my car payment has come out. My student loan payment technically hasn't come out, but it will tomorrow. So that is every cent I spent in the month of May. My bills were a little bit under, and my expenses were almost double what I budgeted. Debt was right on target. Savings were more. Cool. Okay, so May is another 2 paycheck month. I always do it at $2,400. I am going to set a no spend goal of 7 days. We're getting there slowly. Rent, this is all the same. Rent is $1,900, cell phone's $95.91, internet, actually, wait, pause. Okay, apologies about that, but May is when my car insurance policy, or I guess both my insurance policies, renew, and I didn't want to have all my insurance information even recorded at all, so that will actually go down. Anyways, it'll be $145.86. It's not enough money that I'm actually gonna, like, it's, you know, not 8 cents. Spotify is $14.34. I wonder if I get charged twice. iCloud is $4.51. My TTC pass, which actually has already been paid, has already been charged to my card, so that one's already taken care of. And then CapCut is $15.24, and I don't have to pay taxes this year. Groceries, I'm going to do $500. And transit, I do want to go out to the Needlepoint store in Mississauga, so I'm going to give myself $20 because the TTC pass is the Toronto Transit Commission pass, so it doesn't include the GTA, Greater Toronto Area cities. Gas and car, better be zilch. Actually, I might need to buy, I'm going to give myself $20 just in case I need to like buy anything or pay for anything for selling my car. The cat, I'm gonna do one. No, we're buying the cat a cat tree this month, even if that's my only discretionary spending this month. Coffee, we're gonna do 70 again. Essential household supplies, I'm gonna bump up to 90. Toiletries, I just bought toothpaste. I think I'm still good for deodorant. I'm okay without my face oil for a little while. I've got sunscreen, chapstick. I'm gonna do my standard 50 there. Medicine and vitamins better be 0. Medical expenses should be 0. Dental should be 0. I'm gonna give myself $250 for glasses. Fitness and sport. I would really like to start playing tennis again this summer, but maybe we start just for free. Non-essential household. No, because I'm saving this month. Okay, we've got 200 here. I need to buy myself some white t-shirts to like be able to wear some of my other spring pieces. So I'm gonna do 50 here. Makeup and fragrance 0. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Although those would technically be in gifts and cards. Although, no. We'll come back to that. Entertainment should be 0. Hair. I really need a haircut. Travel, 0. 0. Let's see. Moving expenses 0. And then I have canceled my Netflix, so that should be 0. And then what did I say in my goals? Yeah, save $250 to emergency fund. So I can either buy glasses this month or save for the bookcases. I am going to save for the bookcases. And then I still need to make a cut somewhere. And make all of these 0, which is just not possible. I mean, he really doesn't seem that bothered by... Oh, but he needs his annual. Actually, okay, yeah. So he's not getting... Why does the math never math? Okay, so if I did what I wanted to do, I would have negative $570, which obviously we can't do everything we want to do. So I need to sit down and have a hard conversation with myself about what's going on here and figure it out. And I will leave you unsatisfied. Yes, I will. And leave myself knowing that once my car sells and I have an extra $420 a month, this will all be a lot easier. All right, well, that sucks. Goodbye.